beautiful people, I'm Davy Baby and welcome to my channel where I take the time to gossip about books. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Please take 2 seconds to go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the notification button down below so you guys don't miss out on any new videos. A couple of videos ago, I talked about the story, the book, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. So y'all already know what we're getting into today. Y'all already know what I'm excited to talk about today. Today, we are going to be talking about This Could Be Us, which is the second book in the trilogy. I think it's going to be a trilogy, I think. It's the second book of the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. If you haven't read Before I Let Go, go ahead and get into that. You don't necessarily have to read it to read this book, but it does help a little for you to get some backstory on some of the characters. I read this book in like 5 days. I was eating this book up. I love this book. So it says in the end of the book, the next book should be coming in spring 2025. So I'm literally gonna have to wait a whole year to read the next book. And I'm like, that's a sad thing about reading books. Like, if it's supposed to have a follow-up story, you literally just gotta wait till the author is ready to release it. Anywho, this book is so good. So if you haven't read this, if you haven't picked this up, go ahead and pick it up right now. Just letting you know, it's such a good story. This book follows the main character of Before I Let Go's one of her best friends, Soledad Barnes. That's her married name. Spoiler alert, she eventually gets divorced, so she then goes by her maiden name, Soledad Charles. So the story follows Soledad on her journey of self-love and like regaining her independence and just doing things for herself by herself. So the story follows Soledad. First, her husband ate. I'm not gonna cuss on here, but her husband ate. So her husband Edward is embezzling big time money from his company, like almost $6 million, right? She has no idea he was doing this, and he was cheating on her. He was cheating on her with his assistant. Come to find out, I'm okay, guys, I'm gonna be jumping all over the place. This is gonna be nothing but spoilers, nothing but the juicy parts. Like, I feel like you should still read this book. If you haven't read this book yet, go ahead and read it and then come back to this video so we can discuss it and you don't feel like I spoiled you or anything. But now that you've been warned, he cheats on her with his assistant. And not only does he cheat on her, she gets pregnant. The assistant gets pregnant with a baby that looks just like him. Not only did he cheat on her and get another woman pregnant, he gave his wife Soledad chlamydia. And that's how she finds out he was cheating in the first place. It's like, he really was cheating on me. Like, she always thought he was cheating, but she couldn't prove it. Like, he's like, no, I just been working late. I just been in the office. I've been working on projects. He was cheating. And it's, you know what trope I don't like? It's when you hear like women go to the doctor and it's like, you have XYZ. It's like, how could I possibly have XYZ? I've only been with my husband for 80 years. And it's like, now, Sugar Plum, I understand people being in shock by the news, but it's like, let this trope die. You already know where you got it. Let's go light his car on fire or something. So Soledad, like I said, her relationship with her husband is not even rocky. I don't even want to say non-existent, but it's a horrible relationship to be in. He treats her like crap. He doesn't care about her. He diminishes her light, everything under the sun, right? They have 3 daughters together. So, like I said, he embezzled like $6 million, gets arrested, goes to jail. He already knows he's probably going to have to do like a year and a half of time. He's fine with that. He has offshore accounts. He's going to take the money. What you don't find out till later is that he was going to go by himself. He was going to take a one-way ticket. He was going to leave his wife and daughters alone to fend for themselves, knowing this was already his plan if he got caught. And so it's like, you're a sick mofo for doing that, right? So the person who discovers that he embezzled the $6 million works for the company. He's a forensic accountant named Judah. Judah takes a liking for Soledad. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, body banging, body tea. Everybody knows her body is tea. But he's like, there's just something about her. Something about her. So, backstory on Judah. Judah is divorced. He's been divorced for 4 years, but his divorce is amicable. Him and his ex-wife, Tremaine, are they're close, but not in the sense like I should be concerned. They're close, like they understand their role is to co-parent, and they're okay with just being co-parents and people who know that they once cared for each other and that this relationship doesn't really need to progress in that way. Tremaine is actually married to someone else who is actually very amicable with Judah as well. And like I said, they're co-parenting. They have two twin boys, Adam and Aaron, who are both autistic. Is the word on the spectrum? Do you say that? They both have autism, but it does project differently. Like I think with Aaron, he doesn't really speak. He doesn't speak as much, but he communicates like through his iPad or something. And he's very fixated on like toys, like fidget spinners, especially this cube he's been going crazy over. With Adam, I think it projects more like he's like 15 and can't tie his shoes, things like that. Like he's very intelligent, and it like his view on life is very different. Or like with both of them, it's like I think there's certain foods they won't eat, certain things they won't touch. Sometimes they won't talk to people, but they just project in different ways, right? One thing they also know is that I believe Adam has seizures in addition to him having autism. So Judah sees his role as a father as like his top priority. Given that both of his children have autism, he's like, I'm gonna have to prepare a life for just in case after I'm gone, like for them to be sustainable. Which is fair, like as a parent, you always want the most for your child. But because of this, Judah literally is like, work, my kids, work, my kids, work, my kids. There's nothing really else. He's like very much a spreadsheet guy. And I'm not gonna lie, the book hints that he might have a little bit of autism himself because he sees a lot of his, like what he sees in the sons, he sees in himself. Like there's just certain things, it's just, most people don't do this, but you know. So like I said, he takes a liking to Soledad, but she's married, obviously, at this point. This is before the husband goes to jail for embezzlement. The husband gets arrested. Like, it's very dramatic. They come to the house, get him in front of his kids. They're like, oh my God, Daddy, oh my God, what's happening? Ah! Nobody knows what's going on. Come to find out, he embezzled $6 million. They freeze all of the accounts. Soledad has no money. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Soledad was a stay-at-home mom, but she was extremely active in her children's lives. Like, she's very much like all of her kids are super active, like gymnastics, I think acting. I can't remember what other things they were doing, but they all have something to do. They go to 2 different schools. There's 3 kids. She's very active in her home, upkeeping the home, upkeeping the house, trying to upkeep herself. Like, she looked good. She's a bad thing. So she is educated. She went to Cornell. That's where she found her husband. She met her husband, but she hasn't worked. She hasn't worked like in the corporate world. Basically, she's been managing the home, and that is a real job that women do not get paid for. But obviously, her husband doesn't see it that way, and to a certain extent, one of her daughters doesn't even see it that way, which is really shady because her daughter makes it seem like, that Soledad's greatest accomplishment was getting married to her father. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, if my child treated me like that, you would have got backhanded. Don't play me like I'm dumb. I did all of this for us, and you're gonna just try me and say, oh, your daddy's my greatest accomplishment. It's crazy. So basically, Soledad has to find a way to provide for herself and her kids while her husband is in prison for his white-collar crime. And she's just going through this discovery of realizing, like I said, at the same time that he is now in jail, she's finding out that he cheated and everything. Her husband was treating her like trash. Like, he was making it seem like they basically hadn't been physical or intimate in a very long time, and he was like, oh, it's because of work, it's because of this, it's because of that. But in the book, it starts off him saying, it's like, oh, basically because she has loose coochie. And it's like, that was so rude. He said she had loose coochie. Those weren't the exact words, but that's what he said. And it's funny because you realize, like, she's like, I don't have loose coochie, he's just not, he just didn't like me for real. He didn't love me. He didn't care for me. He didn't appreciate me. I'm an amazing woman, and I deserve better, right? And so, like, throughout the book, you're watching her journey of her trying to date herself. Like, eventually she does divorce her husband while he's in prison, and she goes through this journey of dating herself and partnering herself, but also trying to, like, build a life for her and her daughters. There are definitely a lot of shaky moments of insecurity. Like, she has to have her friends help her, and thank God she has the kind of friends who would help her, like, help her take her kids to school, like, pay her kids tuition, because her kids are almost pulled out of school because she could not pay. Like I said, her accounts were frozen. She didn't have money. She wasn't working. She then becomes an influencer, big time influencer, because she's very much lifestyle, cooking, like I said, she was taking care of the home and she was doing a great job at it, to the point she made it her career now to be a content creator who cooks, who gives hacks on cleaning, doing things for your kids, dating yourself, all that jazz. So it really does work out for her. She also like gets her food put in different restaurants, her desserts put in different restaurants. Her friends help out a lot. So she is now building a life for her while her husband's in prison, and like being able to sustain her life. Now, here comes Judah, being the little lover boy that he is. And he can't stay away from her. He doesn't know why he likes her, but he does. And it's like, I think it's because of the independence that she has, the beauty she has, how she just picks herself up, and and long story short, obviously, like, you can tell, it's one of those situations like, we like each other, I want to be with you, but we can't. I want to, but we can't. I want to, but we can't. And it's like, girl, boy, like, y'all need to figure this out. But Soledad does not want to do a relationship because she felt like she gave so much to Edward that she didn't give enough to herself, and she felt like she doesn't want to do that again. But then she realized, hey, there's everything in moderation. You can love yourself and still love somebody else. Like, but first you do have to love yourself. Also, it's kind of weird to date the man who put your husband in prison. But he didn't really put your husband put himself in prison. Like, your husband embezzled the money. I just found out that he embezzled the money. I didn't put him in prison. He put himself in prison. That's how Judah's thinking, and that's how we all should be thinking. But, you know, the kids don't really perceive it that way in the beginning, that my mom is dating the man that put my daddy in prison. But yeah, the love story is really beautiful. It's not the average love story, because there's a part where they're talking about, like, what she's like, I don't think I can ever get married again. He's like, I don't give up. Okay, I don't care. Whatever we can be, I want to be it. I just want us to be together, even if we don't have to get married. Because mind you, now they're both divorcees. He's like, it's okay. And there's a line, I think he says, like, I want you to just envision a life for us, and you say, this could be us. And I'm like, oh my God, this could be us. This could be us. So they eventually do decide to move forward with whatever they're doing. They don't necessarily have to put a title on it. I guess they do. No, they eventually do put a title on it. They're like dating, their boyfriend and girlfriend, but they never like get married. Maybe they'll get married in another book. Maybe they never get married, but they found a relationship that works for them. He's patient with her. Judah's very patient with Soledad to a certain extent. He doesn't want to push her into force her into a relationship, but Soledad's like, I want more, and this is not fair. Because there's a part in the book where the son Adam has a seizure, and Soledad finds out from her daughter, because her daughter goes to the same school as one of Judah's sons, and the ambulance pulled up to the school because he had a seizure and he hit his head. Soledad runs, well, not runs, but she skirts to the hospital, and she realizes, like, I want to be here with you. I should be here with you. I want to support you in life. It's like, as the person's like, I care too much for you to not be here for you. It's like, okay, so what are we? It's like, it doesn't matter what we are. Usually 99% of the time, I'm like, yes, it matters. What are we? You know, y'all know me. I'm very much put a title on it. I'm very much put a title. But in this situation, it's cute. Like I said with Before I Let Go, where I'm like, go back to your ex. That's that one situation. This one is like, this is the one situation I'm like, you don't have to worry about the title on it because it's cute. It's a book. But they progress their lives, they end up being boyfriend and girlfriend, and just enjoy each other's company as long as they can. Yeah, that's the short version of the story. I think what I really like about this book is like the different themes you see. Like, it's talking about family, and not only family, but like the different looks of a family. Like, for example, like I said, Tremaine and Judah are divorced, but they're amazing co-parents to the point that they're even good with each other's partners. That doesn't happen often. Or Soledad talks about her family, where she has two sisters, but her oldest sister is technically her half sister, but it's like they're literally sisters. There's no half. There's no point in calling it half. And to the point, like, her grandma and her other grandma, like her sister's grandma is her grandma, and they're all close. And I feel like blended families, different looks of families, that's a beautiful thing to see. I love that the book talks about friendship, like how it conveys friendship, because like that, I thought that was so sweet. Like, when you're down and out and your friends are able to help you and pick you up, like, you, granted, I know not everybody can have this situation, but in the book, her friend pays the daughter's tuition. Pays her daughter's tuition. I know not everybody can do that, but it's like, her friend literally went, if I got it, why wouldn't I help you? Like, why if you drown it, I'm not helping you? And I just thought that was so heartfelt and so sweet, because I feel like that's what friendship is supposed to be. You can't let your homegirl be down and out and you just chilling, you up and bougie. That, it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, there's that. They dabble lightly on like your role as a woman and how race plays into all of that. Like, I feel the intersectionality of it, because there's a portion in the book where she says, Soledad is talking about why she became like a house mom, a housewife and things like that. And she says, there was a time where it was illegal for me as a black woman to not work. Like, there was times where husbands would go off to war and send their wives money, and so they did not have to work, and that caused havoc. And so it became illegal for women, black women, to not work. So she finds it an honor to be able to be home, and her role in life is to simply care for her kids, take care of her kids, take care of the home. And I'm like, that's very interesting. So I really appreciate them showing like, hey, this is something I care to do. I do it from the kindness of my heart, but this is work. This matters. And so I really appreciate Kennedy showing light on that. Also, girls, some of y'all like spicy books. This book it doesn't get spicy till like quarter 3 of the book. Like, I kid you not, it doesn't get spicy till around here. This is when it starts getting spicy for real. So be warned. Now, I don't know if it's because I had the standard from Before I Let Go. I like Before I Let Go better. And I'll tell you why. I feel like there was so much back and forth and build up. Like, I feel like we were still talking about Edward. It's like, girl, let Edward go. And I understand why she didn't let Edward go. That's her husband. But I was tired of Edward. I was tired of her not being able to move on. But it's like, I understand that's a part of life. Before I Let Go, I felt like flowed more. It's just things leading to this, leading to this. This one, I feel like she kept going back and forth. It's like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Girl, please. Move on. Now, I would still definitely recommend this because she was a good read. I know the girls are eating this up. I haven't seen too many reviews though, but I know the girls are eating this up because this is a good book. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear what happens with Hendrix and her story, because based on what we've seen with Hendrix, like, all I know is that I think her mother has dementia. I think that's what she has, dementia. And Hendrix doesn't have anybody lined up. She doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have a boyfriend. If anything, she's constantly like, I'm single and ready to mingle and I'm having a good time and this man is fine. That's the gist we get from Hendrix. So I'm thinking Hendrix is probably going to find somebody she didn't really think it was going to happen. Nothing was going to happen between them. And then it's like somehow they're going to help her with her life and like dealing with her mom and things like that. I don't know. That's why I think the story's going to go. But we'll see. We're not going to see until like spring 2025, but we'll see. Well, that was it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching and staying tuned through the whole thing. Let me know if you guys do end up reading This Could Be Us. What are your thoughts? How did you feel about it? Do you hate Edward the way I do? Because I feel like there's no way you can't hate Edward. There's literally no way you can't hate him. Do you think that Inez needs to get her act together? Like, I understand children don't understand all concepts, but like Inez was a little slick. She was getting on my nerve a little bit. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll be sure to check the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!